What, the presentation?
Yeah, I can see it perfectly.
Oh, brilliant. So I'm just going to take myself on camera then. Everybody hopefully can see that. And our subtitles as well. So first of all, Geraldine, thank you very much. Also, Danielle and Dee, brilliant. Trisha from this morning, wonderful. And now that you're into your dream maker, I hope everybody's sitting there with a sore hand because you're making lots of notes, but a really expanding mind, because this is a brilliant way of you being able to really get to grips with what it is that you want to do with your travel business now that you are part of the IntelliTravel family. So I have a short session with you today, 2 short sessions with you today, and I'm really going to be talking about you here and your skill. So Danielle and Dee and Trisha spoke about, you know, some of the technical parts of it. After lunch today, you're going to have Emma talking to you about book, register and pay, and then we've got Claire, who's going to be talking about compliance. So if you like, I'm seeing those as very technical, although of course your ambassadors will give you some hints and tips on how you make those practical in your everyday life. But this is really turning the mirror back to you. So I've got 3 areas that I want us to concentrate on today. There we go. And that is attracting the business. So how do you get the business, gaining the business and retaining the business? So when people start their own business with IntelliTravel, maybe they haven't sold travel before, maybe you've been in the industry before but never worked for yourself before. One of the biggest things that people give us feedback on is, how do I get my customer? Where are they? Well, they're around you absolutely everywhere, but it's how you attract them. And the only way really of doing that is by letting them know what you do. And in the UK, we're not very good at, you know, blowing our own trumpet and telling people what we do. In Ireland, we're brilliant at talking to everybody all of the time, no matter where we are. So we need a little bit of Ireland in here sometimes. And also, I think when it comes down to the bottom line here, no matter whether your business is full-time, part-time, you've decided to make this leap. You've decided to do this, and the way that to do it, the best way to do it, I should say, is to make sure that everybody around you understands that this is something that you can do. People talk about holidays a lot, but they might not always put your name to it. So it's making sure that your name comes along synonymously when they think and talk about holidays. Once we've attracted them to us, it's about gaining the business. So it's all very well getting an inquiry from somebody, and especially if they're your friends and family, but can you convert that inquiry into a sale? Because that's the way that we're going to build our business. Once we've done that, how do we retain them? Because the best way of growing our business is to ensure that the customers who've booked with us book with us again. And more than that, that they go out there to the wider world, to their network of friends, family and colleagues, and tell everybody to come to us to book their holidays too. So when we consider why we're doing this, it's all about the customer. Now, when we think about the customer, they're key to everything else that we do. They're key to the success of your business. They're key to our travel industry growing. The more people that want to go and travel, the more likely they are to need a professional travel advisor just like you. Now, we went through, and we will always go through these cycles of a lot of people looking online, some people going to online operators, booking the package themselves or putting a package together themselves. But a few years ago, when life changed for a lot of people, and although we're past that stage now, what happened was people lost some confidence on going to book their own. They started to look again for their travel professional advisor. And that was fabulous for us, because it's a business opportunity that says these were independent travelers who wanted to do it on their own, but now they're coming back to a professional travel advisor because they want the confidence. They want to know that they're going with someone who can do this for them, make it easy for them, are easy to do business with, who they like, and also, very importantly, if something doesn't go quite well, they can go back to. So without the customer, we sell nothing. There's no commission, there's no reputation, there's no presence to grow your business. So this is why it's so important for us to look at ourselves first here with regards to our approach, how we're getting them in. Once we've got them in, are we keeping them? So attraction. You'll see here from my slide, I'm just giving you the thumbs up, right? I want you to get yourself to a mirror, have a look at yourself and give yourself the thumbs up, because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to until you've booked their holiday. And a lot of this is about your confidence. So quite often people will say, oh, I don't like putting myself out there, or oh, I talk to people about going on video and you should see their face, it's absolute horror because no, I don't like seeing myself on video. Well, do you know what we see you on video, what we hear on the phone is your voice, and we've got to hear it, so you've got to love it. And there's a great saying which is love yourself before anybody else can love you, and I'm going to bring that back to you today. Turn the mirror back on yourself here. If you want to attract people into your world and your business, it's your confidence that's going to do it. So think right now about how you're finding your customers. I'm going to make an assumption here that all of you are using social media sites. And that's brilliant. Now, some of you might be using lots of them. Some of you may well focus on a few. Facebook is still a big one. And I know that a lot of people are saying, oh, Facebook is phasing out and Facebook is doing that. Actually, the stats tell us something different when it comes down to people looking at their travel. But of course, Instagram is wonderful for all of the images that we can do. TikTok for a little video when you're away on holiday. These are all brilliant social sites, and they are phenomenal for building your audience. Now, I make the point, building your audience. Don't think that social media and having a good post on there about a holiday is going to convert that social media post into a sale. Only you can do that. But what it does do is attract the person to you. If you like, it's like a window that they'd see on a high street travel agent. But think about what social media actually is. It's two-way communication. So there's no point in you just going in, offer after offer, deal after deal. And IntelliTravel will send you brilliant offers from our preferred partners, what's going on right now. But it's about how you personalize that. It's how you put it on your own screen. Because it was mentioned earlier, there's not only us, I think it was Dee that said there's plenty fish in the sea. Well, right now, there are hundreds of thousands of travel agents in the UK and Ireland, and we're all fishing in that same pond. But that pond is massive. There is enough business for all of us out there, but we've got to make sure that we're standing out from the crowd in order to attract that business to us. So if we've had a really good holiday offer comes up, or we know that there's a trend for people wanting to go to Japan right now, believe me, every other travel agent is going to be putting that on their social media. And if they're simply copy and pasting, what happens is it starts to look like wallpaper. We don't see it anymore. So you've got to think about what you do to make that pop. And quite often in social media, it's the really random posts that get you the most traction. So one of the best posts I ever saw was somebody putting a picture of a toilet, right, an actual toilet on top of a hill. And the caption was, where do you think this is? Now, I have to say that they had absolutely masses of people trying to guess where this toilet was. And it sounds so random, but it made people smile. It made people think. And it really got this particular agent an enormous amount of new followers, of new likes. And what she did with that is she went back to every comment, she went back to every like. She then said to people, I'll tell you where it is tomorrow, right? So even more people were following her. That's a brilliant way of getting traction to attract your audience. Just simply copy and pasting deals doesn't do it. And remember, when anybody leaves you a comment, leaves you a like, that's your opportunity to go back to them and give them some extra information if that's what they're looking for. But remember, the social aspect of it, the social media aspect of it doesn't make your booking for you. You have to do that, and you take them offline. Now, some of you may well have a website, and the ladies mentioned earlier, your ambassadors mentioned earlier that, in your back office, you can go and build your website. IntelliTravel have given you the tools to do that. That's brilliant. And I have to say, totally priceless. For you to go in there and give yourself another window is great. Some people use it as a point of reference, a point of contact. All I'm going to say to you with regards to your website is make sure there is a call to action everywhere. Everywhere that you're posting must have your name, your number, how to contact you, because that's the right way to do it. There's no point in just having wonderful pictures or imagery or even great text up there if people then don't know how to contact you. Then I'm going to talk about advertising, and some of you may not have thought about advertising before because you might think, well, that's a spend that I don't have, that's a cost that I don't have. But in fact, some advertising can be really, really good for you and doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Think about your local coffee shop. A lot of them have a notice board, and people like window cleaners and plumbers and things like that will put their cards up there. Same in your supermarket, same in your local post office. Well, put your card up there that says, I can book your next holiday. As bold as that. That's a call to action, really. I can book your next holiday. Here's my name, here's my number. Be delighted to do that for you. Sometimes that only costs a couple of pounds, a couple of euros to leave that card there for a couple of weeks. And it's really good for you to see if you get any traction for it, because that couple of pounds and couple of euros is money well spent if you've managed to get even one customer to call you and make that inquiry, because then it's your job to convert that into a sale. Think also about local papers, local newsletters. In my area, we have a monthly update on businesses in the area. It's really like a little directory for local businesses. That does not cost a lot to advertise. It's a month long, and you would be probably quite amazed at how many people read through that. Not specifically because they're looking for a plumber or a garden centre, or they're just having a look through to see what the local businesses are. And in the last few years, you hear more and more people talking about supporting their local business. So get yourself in there because it could be really cheap. You don't know until you find out. Think about local libraries. Think about just your advertising. Word of mouth is brilliant because it's free and also a personal, person to person. I know this person, I like them, I'm giving their number to you. That's absolutely priceless. Your friends and family are amazing, especially to start your business with, to help your confidence grow, because your friends and family will be a little bit more patient, shall we say, with you than perhaps a stranger that doesn't know you. And it means that you can, not just use them as your testing ground, because ultimately they're still your customer. You want to give them and provide them with a phenomenal service, but it gives you the opportunity to trial run a few things with them, and also ask them for their feedback. What did you think when I got back to you with this? Was that the right information for you? Get their feedback, gather it, because that will help you to go out there to people that are not your friends and family. But more than that, with your friends and family, you make sure that they become your living, breathing, talking advocate. So when they're in their workplace and people are talking about holidays, they're mentioning you. When they're in their coffee shop, when they're at the school gates, they're mentioning you. Allow them to be your advocate. They are your walking, talking banner of advertising, and they can be brilliant at doing that. Because remember that personal to person recommendation, it really does help to get you over the line. It takes a lot of the hard work out of it. I'd also like you to think here about your community. Wherever you live, you've a community around you, unless you're right in the sticks, of course, but then I'm sure you've got a local village that you pop into. When you understand your local community, small businesses as well, then you can think about how you talk to that small business owner to see if there's anything you can do to mutually help each other. I'll give you an example. When you go to the hairdressers, one of the first things your hairdresser said to you is, been on holiday this year, thinking about going on holiday this year. I was away on holiday last week. Right? Holidays are a big talking point in any hair salon that I have ever visited. And so if your local hairdresser knows that you book those holidays, then when the next time that somebody's talking about going on holiday, or I was thinking about going to such and such a place, they can then give them your name. Even better if they allow you to leave some business cards there or some flyers, because then that way you're saying to that business owner, and I'll tell people to come and, when they've booked their holiday, if they live in the area, to come and get their haircut with you. So it's a mutually beneficial word of mouth recommendation. But my goodness, it can work beautifully. Also, nail salons. People like to go and get their nails done before they go on holiday. Let them know that that is what you do. Even better than that, when you're sitting in the hairdressers, your local hairdressers the next time, and you're talking to your hairdresser about where you last went on holiday, then you make sure just as loudly that you tell them that you booked that because you are a professional travel advisor. That's what you do, because there's other people in that salon listening to you, And it might surprise you when somebody pops over to you to tell you your hair looks marvelous, but also to ask for your number because they're thinking about going on holiday. There is nothing better than getting into your local community, being known as your local travel agent. And even if you're in a town and you've got some high street travel agencies, right, that person to person, that personal service that you're giving them allows you still to stand out from the crowd. Don't be put off by somebody's big window. Right? If your social is out there with a window, your website is out there for a window, your voice is out there telling people this is what you do, and your friends and family are supporting you, right? That's the biggest window you're ever going to have. So make sure that you use it. I'd also like you to think here about local clubs. For example, if you've got a golf club around you, right? Golfers like to go away and play golf elsewhere. That's a holiday, and you can book that for them. And even better, they've all got their excess baggage with their clubs and everything else. They want somebody to look after that for them. They want somebody to advise them on that. Sometimes they'll go for group excursions, car hire. Like, this is all, to me, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I'm seeing that commission raise, and also I'm serving my local community, and that golf club loves me. Not only does that 12 golfers go away to Portugal in March, they're now thinking, because I did such a good job, they're going to go away somewhere warmer in September. Right? That can be such a brilliant, ongoing, wonderful relationship that you build with them that helps your business to grow. Think about other clubs, church clubs, the school clubs, all of these things. People go on holiday. Some people like to go away together. Some people like to organize groups together. That is wonderful for your business. So don't discount it, and be bold about it. And it could well be that your local golf club, sometimes, in the bar area, they have little presentations on things. Sometimes it's sports clothing and things to do with golfing. Other times it could be you talking about an absolutely phenomenal new golf course that's just opened in Portugal that would be wonderful for all of them to go and visit, and you can arrange it. And some of the clubs will let you do that. Some of the local libraries will let you have a 10-minute session on a particular destination. And of course, you're letting people know then that that's what you do, that's what you book. So when we talk about finding your customers, and I hear it a lot, especially from new agents, oh, it's really hard, can't find the customers. My first question to you is, are you telling enough people about it? And I had a great story from somebody who said they were in the local Costa coffee. They were going to work from Costa that day just to give themselves a little, different, a different angle, a different set of walls to look at. While they were in the queue to order, they were telling the barista, who's gotten to know them quite well, I'm just going to sit here, I'm selling some great holidays today to Indonesia. And the barista started talking, oh, that sounds fantastic, that sounds like a good holiday. Of course, everybody else in the queue was tuning in. And what happened is when that person then sat down to open up their laptop to start their work, people were coming over to them in that coffee shop and asking about holidays. So the more you talk about it, the better it is for you and for everybody else, because then they're going to benefit from you, right? So finding your customers, make it easy on yourself by getting yourself out there. Think about your approach here when it comes to your first impressions, because trust is absolutely everything. Some people have saved for this holiday all year, some for a few years because it's a big holiday, and they want to trust that when they give you their money, you're going to do the best that you possibly can for them for the holiday and make their dreams come true. And that sounds a bit cheesy, but you know what? I believe that cheese should come with everything, right? Every single time somebody thinks of holiday, they're thinking about it with a positive mindset, a positive frame of mind, and a big smile usually on their face. So first impressions count. The more smiley you are, the more positive you are, the more energy in your voice, the more people are going to buy into you. If somebody phones you up, random number on your mobile, and you should always answer these random numbers if that is the number you have advertised anywhere or given out to anyone, because it could be a potential new customer. When you pick up the phone and say hello, and they say, oh, somebody told me at the school gates that you sell holidays. Brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm so pleased. Who was it that told you? Debbie. I'll be sure to say thank you to her. Thanks ever so much. Yeah, I booked her holiday last year. What can I do for you now? Now that sounds so much better than somebody saying, how did you get my number? Who was it that gave you it? Because that's quite aggressive stance, but you might be surprised at how many people do that because they weren't expecting somebody to phone them. Please expect people to phone you. This is your business. This is what you want. Know your introduction. Tell people what you do. Now, some of you on the questions earlier, when Trish was talking to you, were saying about maybe specializing in certain areas or going niche into different markets. If you know that that's what you're focusing on, know your introduction. Make sure that it's in there. If you want to be generalist, if you want to be open and sell everything, again, make sure that it's in your introduction. Confidence is truly infectious. Your customers want to feel more confident in themselves, but also in you. So, the biggest impression that you can have on someone is by being and feeling confident. And if they ask you something and you think, I have no idea where that is, or I don't know where, right? All you have to do is take a breath, have a smile, that little pause there to say, great, let's go and find out for you. And then you let your fingers start working and go and do that research for them. Ask them as many questions as you can in order to get them talking so that you don't sound that you're not being very confident. At the same time, I'm going to say here, we don't lie, right? You don't have to say, oh, I know that place, or I was there myself if you weren't, because they're going to ask you more and more questions and you're going to get your confidence leaving you very quickly out the back door. So really think about your confidence here. Now, we've got them, right? They've come to us either by phone, by email, we've met them in the coffee shop, and now we want to gain their trust in order for us to be able to make their booking. And a lot of people now are looking for that personal touch. They want to be able to know who it is that's dealing with them for their holiday. So quite often their expectations are extremely high. And these 5 dots here, service delivery, research, standards, commitment, communication, are all the things that we should have very high on our priorities all of the time. Be known for what you do and deliver a brilliant service. And that means sometimes having a bit of a structured approach. You have a little tick list there, right, in front of you that says, make sure I've taken a name, how many people, where are they going from, right? That's helping you not only to qualify your customer, but also to help that service delivery, because you sound as if you know absolutely what you're doing. You're not all over the place. It's really important that you get enough information from your customer, but you also give them the information that they want to know. So think about your service delivery. Think about services you've had in the past when you were not impressed. Because if that's how you sound, then that customer will not be impressed. You've got to do your research. And that means taking all the information from your customer at that point of inquiry so that you can go away and find the holiday that's going to best suit them. Now, I have to say at this stage, there are some real key questions we need to be asking. Where are you going from? Where are you going to? You know, what kind of transport are we going to be using for that? What type of holiday? What are the ages of your kids? How much do you want to spend on your holiday? You know, what are you looking at in terms of cost? Right? These are very static, standard questions. And you'll notice I didn't use the word budget there because I don't want anybody to have a budget holiday. I want them to have a brilliant holiday. So I'll talk about cost, I'll talk about spend, because it makes a difference to them. Then you can think about your best suppliers, right? We've got brilliant travel partners to go away to. And Dee and Danielle were telling you, go in and do your webinars, go into the tiles, make sure you familiarize yourself with them before you go to them in order to make that booking, or at least get the inquiry for availability and cost. But you need to make sure that you've got the right answers to your questions before you start that research. Otherwise, you're going to research something that may not suit your customer, and that's going to knock your chances of converting that inquiry into a sale. Now, remember also, no two individuals are ever the same. Everybody's different. And as well as asking those questions and going deeper into why did you like that? What's been your favorite holiday? You know, what do you really like doing on holiday together as a family or on your own? Also, is there anything else I should know? Anything else about you that I should know that would help me to find your holiday? Because that way then people will open up to you. Maybe it's something that they don't always like talking about, but you know, it could be really helpful when it comes down to their holiday. So rather than be very direct to say to somebody, you know, do you have, we will be direct when we start to go into the nitty gritty of the holiday, but at this stage when we're talking about research and the initial inquiry, just find out, is there anything else about you that I should know that would help me to go and find you a great holiday? And that's a brilliant open question because it helps your customer to focus on maybe things that they're going to tell you that they weren't thinking of telling you. Then it's about standards. Are your standards high? Because they should be. We are regulated. We are heavily regulated, and that is between the UK and Ireland, and that will always be the same. So when it comes down to your standards, know your regulation. That's why we get you to do the regulatory training as you join up to IntelliTravel before you do anything else. It's important. We must understand that if we break those regulations, any of that guidance or legislation, then we are found liable of that, and that's our fault. So be the best that you can be by keeping to those standards. Also, think about your own friendly, assertive, professional way. You know, a lot of people say talk to people how I want to be talked to myself. Well, I say talk to people how they want to be talked to, right? If somebody says, and they're very friendly and they've called themselves by their first name, that's how we'll address them. If they're more formal and they've used their surname, that's how we'll address them. Think about the standards that your customer wants from you, and then as time goes on and we build a better relationship with them, of course that becomes a little bit more solid. Maybe that formality will have left them then, but we'll never drop our professional standard. I'm also going to push this back to our suppliers, your partners, the people who book these holidays. Please have high standards with them. They've got a job to do the same as you. There is no point going to them with half a story. They can't make your full story unless you give them the right details that they require. So I know that Trish mentioned this earlier. Don't go in there with I've got £1,000 to go away to Malaga in September. What have you got? That's not their job. Their job is to listen to their experienced, educated, professional travel advisor who's qualified their customer, who's giving them the details that they need to go into their system and give them availability and price. So really make sure that your standards are high here, because the best relationships you have with your suppliers, because they get to know you, they get to recognize your name, and it's brilliant because they know I'm dealing with Debbie now. I know that she's great. She's got really high standards. I can get that quotation really quickly for her. That makes a big difference to you and your business as well. Think about commitment. If you if you say you're going to phone somebody back, please phone them back, because if you don't, then they're going to pop off to your competition that is surrounding you. Many years ago, we had a 1 in 3 chance, right? 1 in 3 people would go for 3 quotes, then make up their mind. That then quickly became 5. A few years ago, it was 8. Can you believe today in 2025, you have a 1 in 11 chance of making that inquiry into a sale? Because people are looking further afield, they're broadening their searches, and they want to work with the people that they want to work with. So if you say to someone, that's great, I've got all your details, I'll get back to you tomorrow, and I can do that before 12 or after 4, what's going to suit you best? They'll buy into that and commit to you. Quite often, if you just say, shall I give you a call back? Like, oh no, I'll phone you, right? Because we're all a bit afraid of being sold to. So think about how you pose the question. But then when you say you're going to do it, do it. If you say you're going to call them before 12, it gets to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I haven't had my phone call from you, I'm probably going to phone another travel agent. And then you've lost me. So please make sure when you say I'm going to send you that information by email, do it. Do it now. Show them your commitment, because if you do, then they will commit to you. And then communication, massive in everything that we do here. Positive language, making the right noises, encouragement, but it's also about having the ability to stop talking. Shut up and let your customer think and let them talk. And in fact, the more you get your customer talking, the easier that relationship build is. And take in the words as well as the music. And what I mean by that is sometimes people are very nervous about booking a holiday, and especially if they don't know you and they've never spoken to you before, not quite sure what details to give. They're not quite sure how they're going to build that relationship with you. You can sometimes hear that in their voice. That's the music. So if you can hear that uncertainty, or if you can hear that massive confidence, then use it to the best of your ability within that conversation, because it makes a big difference to them. And when I talk about language, I'm really going to bring this back. Remember, I said that mirrors turned on you today. I want to give you the thumbs up. My question to you is, do you speak positively or do you speak negatively? Because the majority of us, as friendly and lovely as we are in the countries of in the UK and in Ireland, yeah, we speak quite negatively. And I've just done it there, quite, right? Either you speak negatively or you speak positively. The quite is diluting my message here. I could look at you today and say, you look beautiful, right? But no, in our countries, we tend to say, don't you look nice? Well, don't you means do not, therefore no, right? So think about your language here. It matters to you and it matters to your customer massively. Excellent, fantastic, yes. One of my favorites, certainly. I can do that. That's right. You're welcome. And the words I, you, we. I will do that for you. Your flight, your hotel, your cruise, instead of the. The belongs to anybody. You belongs to you. And that means that you can put yourself in the picture. And we will get that sorted out for you. We will. So I'm making it bigger. I'm making you feel part of my community. Now, you might never thought of how powerful these words could be, but believe me, they really are. It makes a big difference to people. It's that difference between meeting somebody, at a bar on a Friday night and getting along and chatting to them fine. There may be a friend of a friend that's they've brought along for you. You didn't know them before. And you walk away from that person, you think, I really liked them. Don't know why, but they were really nice. Quite often, it's about that language that they use and being positive in your language. We tend to switch off from people who use repetitive negative. And these words in blue are those repetitive negatives. Unfortunately, it means nothing, but everybody thinks it's a showstopper in a negative way. You don't need to use unfortunately, right? Basically, actually, obviously, I'm going to ask all of you, are you nodding your heads to that? Do you use that right now? I bet that you do. And if you keep on using those words, you are going to neg yourself out. Basically, I can book that holiday for you. I'll basically get your flights and I'll go away and I'll basically have a look at the best partner for you for that. Look at the hotel for you. Basically, I know what you're looking for there. It's 2 rooms. I've got all your dates and basically I'll come back to you with the basic. Sounds like I'm going to the back end of Beirut. I want you to think about how positive you put your message across. I can do that for you. I will go and get your flights. I know what it is you're looking for. I'll look for the best times for you. I'll check the hotels. I've got a really good idea of what your standards are. Sounds the same as mine. I'll come back to you with a great price. That sounds so much better than filling your whole conversation with basicallys, actuallys, and obviously's. Unfortunately, as I said, is a filler word, and I'm afraid is also a filler word. And listen, let's face it, if you're afraid you're having a nightmare, who wants to have a nightmare about going on holiday? Nobody. So take it out. If you go back and say to somebody, unfortunately, there's no availability, right? That's like, oh, no, really? Oh, gosh. I don't want to hear it. There is no availability for the dates that you've given me. However, I've had a wee look before and after, and I can offer you a choice of 2. How much better does that sound than unfortunately? I'm afraid there's no availability. Take it away. Maybe, possibly. Do you know what that means? You're sitting on the fence. Sit on the fence too long, you're going to get a sore backside. So I'm going to ask you to be clear with your language here. Think about it. It makes such a big difference. And the more you focus on that positivity in your language, the more of an audience you are going to attract, you're going to gain, and you're going to retain. I've put the word problem in here. And if there is a problem, we'll face it. But don't make a problem by using the word problem. And I'll give you a good example of this. Somebody says to you, thank you, you've been really helpful. And we say, no problem. No problem is a double negative. Right? No and problem. Now, they won't recognize it at that stage because we're so used to hearing it everywhere. But if they then do have a problem, they'll recognize then that one of the last things you said to them was that there was no problem. And it means that the subconscious mind starts talking to the conscious again and it becomes problematic. So please stop using it. In this country and in Ireland, we are not great at accepting compliments. So to say, somebody says to you, you look fantastic. Well, oh, don't look at me today. I've not washed my hair. Right. We're rubbish at accepting a compliment. Thank you is a compliment. Thank you very much for what you did. Thank you very much for that. We should be saying to them, my pleasure. Thank you. You're welcome. Don't bat it away by no problem. Accept the compliment that's coming your way because it matters and it helps your confidence massively. If you use no problem, you're discounting it. You're diluting the positivity that your customer or potential customer gave to you. So keep it, accept it. Try to get rid of that whole no problem. I'm on a mission here for the world. On my lovely travel advisors, and I really would love people to. Worse is no worries. If you use no worries, seriously, why are you worrying people about booking their holiday? And if you don't think about your language, your competitors are, and that's what will get that booking across the line. So It's not just about what you say, it's also about how you say it. Is your voice interesting? Have you got energy? Can you convey excitement, enthusiasm, sincerity? Because if not, you might sound monotone, short, or sarcastic. So if your customer comes to you on the email with their inquiry, that's great, but try and get them on the phone at least, because the voice matters, right? People do well. If you can get them on a video, even better. And I know that some of you are sitting there now cringing when I mention the video word again, but my goodness, if you've asked anybody if they've tried this, they will tell you that success rate is massive, because people like to see who they're working with. If you're local and it's local business, meet them in the local coffee shop, a local reception area. It's a brilliant thing to do, because then it's not just your voice, it's also your body language. But if your voice is very monotone and we don't change anything and we don't convey excitement, and this is just how we're going to sound all the way through our call, it's not going to make me feel really excited about you booking my holiday. So that's not to say that you have to become somebody else, but think about how you change your tone and voice. And it might just be 1 or 2 words that you use, but that can make all the difference to you and your customer. So now we attracted them. They've come to us. We've got them, right? We've booked their holiday for them, or we've got them to a point where we've gone away to do that quotation and we know when we're coming back to them. That's our customer. Now, if they didn't book with us at that moment in time, and we'll talk about booking in a little bit later, they didn't book with us, that doesn't mean that they won't do in the future, or we still don't have an opportunity. So keep the door wide open, because we want to retain these customers. Relationships matter, and they really do. People want to work with people who are reliable and trustworthy, approachable and friendly, knowledgeable and professional, and all the rest. Is that you? Can you look at this list that's in front of you and tick that off? Because that's what your customer is looking for, right across the scale. Relationships matter, and especially when we talk about booking their holiday. A holiday is a want, not a need, although I believe everybody needs a holiday, right? It's something additional to them. And so we want for them to make sure that they're booking that with a person that they like, they know, and they trust. People buy from people first. And that could be the difference between you being a few pounds or a few euros different from one travel agent to another. But the biggest standout for that customer was you. They liked you, they bought into you. And that will allow them to make that decision, even if there is a difference in the price. Relationships matter. Think about your own interpersonal skills. When you're focusing on the customer, use their name. Remember details about them. Enhance their self-esteem. When you say to somebody, "Oh, I want to go away to Tenerife for 2 weeks," and your professional travel advisor says, "What a great choice. That's a fantastic," you're like, "Oh, brilliant. Look at me," right? Give them compliments in their choices. Tell them that's right. You're right there, right? Because they feel good about it. Build the rapport, have a conversation. It's as easy as that. Explain what you're doing. I'm going to go away now. I'm going to look for the best holiday and I'm going to come back to you. That's important that they know that. They don't need to know the minute detail. And here's my big thing. Please, if your system is slow, if your computer is freezing on you, your customer doesn't want to know, because that's the same system that they believe is going to take their money to book their holiday. So don't blame things by giving too much explanation. What I really mean here is don't overshare. Right? Give them the explanation of what you're doing so that they know what's coming next. And when you're closing, let them know what the next steps are. Now, I don't mean closing the sale here. I'm just talking about saying goodbye as you go and do your research for that customer. But use your own interpersonal skills. When it comes down to that whole attraction, gaining, retaining, think about how you keep in touch. Have an excellent database. In your back office, Dean and Danielle showed you earlier, and you can go in there and have a look. We've got a CRM. That CRM, that customer management system, did I call that CMS or CRM? Anyway, that's what it is, right? That's where you put all your customers' details. And that means that you can send them newsletters, you can send them flyers, you can send them deals, but also IntelliTravel can help you by doing that as well. But make sure that it's in there. Social feeds, but making the content interesting. Remember, copy and pasted offers just don't do that for you. Two-way traction. When people are leaving you comments, go back to them. Keep it going. Keep it sharing, and say to people, if you like the look of this, Feel free to share. Go out there and ask. Email. If something comes in that you think may be of interest to that customer, email that. I know that I booked you on your 2 weeks to Tenerife last year. Just had this great deal come in for Gran Canaria. Thought that might interest you as you've already done Tenerife. If you personalize those things, then people think that you are speaking to them directly and they're more likely to come back to you to book their next holiday. Refresh your advertising. Make sure that you're sharing, excuse me, what you do with your customer. Visit groups, get into your local community because that matters. The more they know you, the more they will come to you, and that helps your retention. And please ask customers to pass on your details. Excuse me. If somebody says, thank you so much, I've really enjoyed that and I'm really pleased that you've booked my holiday, you should be saying to them, listen, feel free to pass my name, pass my number out there to your friends and family, and I promise you I'll look after them the same way I've done for you. Ask for that recommendation. In Scotland, we have a lovely little saying that says, shy bairns get nowhere. Right? Translated, if you don't ask, you don't get. So if you don't ask, don't expect to get. Ask your customer if they'd be happy to recommend you. You don't have to say, would you be happy to recommend me? You say, feel free to recommend me. Go out there and tell other people, I'll look after them. And when they've had their holiday, a little welcome home email or a card or a call does it. And that really helps you in such a big way. And I've known travel professionals that have been travel professionals for many years who say to me, I know what you're saying about the call when they come back from holiday, but oh my goodness, what happens if I open a can of worms? So I'm going to ask all of you wonderful IntelliTravel advisors, have you ever seen a can of worms? Because if you have, I bet you it wasn't closed. If you're a fisher, if you've been fishing, if you're using worms for your garden, has to be open. Why? Worms need oxygen to breathe. If you close the can of worms, they don't breathe and therefore they die. And that means that you're cutting yourself off from opportunity, right? I want you to open your opportunity. If you phone that customer and they did have an issue on their holiday or something didn't go quite right, but you're there and listening to them, that can of worms is living and breathing and giving you opportunity to see it prosper. If you've not done that, then all they're thinking is, certain things didn't go well on that holiday, maybe I'll try a different travel agent. But if you've given yourself the opportunity of either sending them an email, a card, or giving them a call, and listen to them, there might be nothing that you could have done about that, but you can say things to them like, well, we'll remember that for the next time we book your holiday. Right? Then it's showing them that you've got the confidence to do that. And remember, as I said right at the beginning, the most attractive things that you can give to any prospective customer is your confidence, and that makes them feel confident too. So in our first session, just to recap, attraction, get them in, and there's lots of ways of doing it, and there is lots of customers out there for you to find. Don't think that it's really difficult for you to find. If you feel that difficulty, it's because you're not putting yourself out there. The more people you tell, the more likely you are to have that customer. Once you've got them in, ask all the right questions, listen to them, get to know them, build the rapport, go and find the holiday of their choice. When you say you go back to them, make sure that you do within that time frame and book their holiday. Then ask them for the recommendation, keep in touch with them, and that will allow your business to prosper month after month, year after year. And so this lovely passion that you had and that want to start to become a travel advisor, if you never were one before, you'll realize that that dream becomes a reality because you've built that customer base. Without them, it's very difficult to have your business prosper. So the more you do about it, the better. Now, I'm going to throw back the curtains here and ask you another question, which I'm never going to hear the answer to, but hopefully you'll put a wee emoji up or something. Service sells, and we've just spoken about service, so I'm going to ask, do you? Right? When it comes down to it, we are selling holidays, we're selling travel, but we might not put ourselves in that salesperson's box, and quite right, because what we're selling is not tangible, it's not touchable, we can't taste it yet, we can't feel it yet. It's something that people think about, and that the only way to do that and to do it well is to do it through your service levels. So communication being two-way, and I'm going to say about qualifying your customer here, please ask until there are no questions left. You have to go and do research. And to do that, you need all the information that you possibly can. And I want you to dig deeper than your customer information form. I think that Dee had said earlier, this is not a form that you should be sending to your customer. You should be talking to them and filling it out with them, because it's a great conversation point and it gives you the details that you need. But you need more. Delve deeper. What type of holidays do you usually go on? Why have you particularly chosen this one? What are you thinking about? What do you like to do? How do you like to spend your evenings? What types of restaurants do you like to go to? All those questions are fantastic for you to get even more information about your customer so that you can go and find them the perfect holiday. But not only that, when you go back to them and talk to them about why you think that particular hotel is good or why this particular cruise line is great, if they've not asked you for that cruise line or that hotel because they were fishing, they don't really know where they want to go, they're looking for your advice. Your advice should be based on their needs and wants, not your own. So the more you get from your customer, the more you give back to your customer, the more aligned to you your customer feels. And therefore, your sale is completely progressive. It started off by hellos and getting to know you. I've gone away and got you something that I think absolutely fits you because I listened to you and I got to know you. I've delivered that to you in a way that you feel is good because I've checked all the way through. What do you think? How does that sound? And we're ready then to move forward to get that secured for you. One of the big things here when it comes down to this communication being two-way is your ability to listen. Listening is not a virtue. It's not been blessed upon us. We have to work hard sometimes at being able to listen. And there's lots of things that take your listening ability away from you. Hunger. I say that to you as we come up to lunchtime. That's probably made your belly rumble. There you are. Being tired, being cold, being warm, hangovers, everything kind of interrupts our listening to a monotone voice. So think about how you really hone in your listening ability here. And if you've got to take some notes because it matters. Very importantly, all of you talk to yourselves. Now, I know I can't see you and I can't hear you, but if you're not nodding with me, you're lying to yourself and to me. We all talk to ourselves because we make the best sense, right? We're the best at talking to ourselves. But that inner voice is loud. And sometimes that inner voice cuts out your customer. So when you say to your customer, so how many, what was the duration of your holiday? How long do you want to go away for? Your inner voice is thinking 1 week, 2 weeks, right? It's immediately thinking that to you. Maybe they've asked for a particular itinerary on a cruise line and you know it's 10 days. You're immediately thinking 10 days. Don't let your inner voice answer your customer's question. Let your customer answer it. And even worse, my lovely agents and advisors, don't answer it yourself. So how long do you want to go away on holiday? 2 weeks? Well, as your customer, you didn't let me answer. So you've made the assumption and you're not letting me talk. So please have the ability to have that pause, listen to your customer. It builds a lot more trust and confidence. And it means, of course, that they like you more and people buy from people first. It's fabulous in sales, I have to say. The way that you deliver your communication with the ability to question, the ability to listen, the ability to give more information and speak positively, the more your customer buys into you. And this is why you hear a lot of really successful travel advisors will say to you, I don't see myself as a salesperson. And I say, good, because you're making it progressive. You're selling through service. Now, I want you to look at this table here on the right and left of your screen, how we sell and how we buy. So on the left-hand side is you. You are prepared to sell. And this is why I said earlier, if somebody phones you a random number on your phone, please answer it. Because if you've given that number out, you don't know who's at the end of it. Could be your customer, and answer it joyously. Yeah, because you don't know who that's going to be. So be prepared to sell. If you're there in your office, make sure you've got your systems open and you're ready to sell. Now, from your customer's side, on the right-hand side, they need to get their attention grabbed in some way. So either somebody's told them about you, they've looked at your website, they looked at your social postings, they've maybe met you in a coffee shop, they've seen you at the local golf course, right? You've got the retention. So for them to come to you, you need to be prepared to sell. Then you've got the meet and greet. Hi, how are you? This is what I do. Absolutely brilliant. Let me find out what you need, what you want. From your customer's perspective, that gets their interest and you've got their involvement. You've got them talking. And the more you can get your customer to talk, look, if they're going to the same destination that they've been to for the last 5 years, get them talking about that destination. Because believe me, travel advisors, you'll get a whole lot more knowledge out of that as well. And that will help you with future customers who want to go to that destination. So get their interest and involvement. That means you're finding out their customers' needs and wants. From you, you match and tell, right? You've taken it away, you've done the research, you tell them what you found, you match it to what they wanted, to what they said, to some of the phrases and words that they use, and show the value here. This is not about just price. This is about value in what you want. You said you wanted to go to a 4-star hotel. I found that for you. I've got you brilliant flights. They leave at 7 in the morning. You're going to land by 11. That gives you the full day there, really, so that you can enjoy your holiday from day one. Now, I'm telling you all that before I tell you the price because I'm giving you a value. And all I'm then telling you when it comes to the price is how much this is all going to cost you. And that makes it so much easier for people to swallow because you've already built the dream in their head. They absolutely want to go there. It's just a case of securing it now. And that sparks their desire. Then you confirm that they're satisfied, you take that sale, or if for any reason they need to think about it, they want to come back to you, they don't get paid until the end of the month, they've got to get their dog looked after, there's so many different things they can come up with, then you follow up. So that's given them the ability to make a decision, either to book at that moment in time or not, but don't think not means never. And then action, whatever action you've decided, they've decided. So they'll allow you to follow up with them because they like you, they've bought into you, or not if they haven't. And they'll let you know that because they'll say, oh, don't worry about it, I'll give you a call back. And that's the way their voice will go. And something then just did not gel between us at that stage. And remember, it's a people's game. People buy from people first. So think about how we sell and how we buy. They match beautifully if you help yourself. Get the most from every inquiry because if you don't, somebody else is going to. They've gone through a process to get to you, right? And remember that we are 1 in 11. So we want to respond quickly. We want to show our understanding. We want to deliver the best service. Focus on what it is that they're looking for and what you can provide for them. If you've got to follow up, have a good structure as well in there. Follow a good structure, I should say, and make sure that when you say you're going to do it, then you do it. But very importantly here, take the business. If you don't ask, you don't get. So if it's come to the point where you've gone back with your research, you've said to your customer, this is what I found for you, this is where we're going with it, fantastic holiday, absolutely brilliant. And then you don't say anything else. Your customer then hesitates. You've kind of broken that dream cycle that they've got there and says, okay, then, well, thanks very much for your help. Really, you've been really helpful. Thank you. And you're, oh, no. Thank you. Yeah, thanks ever so much. Well, yeah, when you're ready, you give me a call back. Oh, you've just lost it. You've just lost them to somebody else. What you need there is, so that's a holiday. That's what we found for you. I know you said that sounded fantastic. Shall I go ahead and book that for you now? Right? Because that's what we're asking. Now, if you do not feel comfortable asking that closing question, and some people don't, and I don't really understand why, but you know what? We're all different. Then simply deliver the closing statement, which is, I can book that for you now, and then shut up. Now, when it comes down to it, if you don't ask for the business, don't expect to get it. And always follow up, even if at that stage they say, you'll need to come back to me. I'm putting in bold here, speak rather than type, and gain even more confidence and loyalty by booking a video call. We can do it all on Zoom, all on Teams, all on all these free platforms. Please use those platforms. People love to see. But more than that, you can then share videos, you can share screens with them on brochure pages, you can share images with them. Please get your customer involved as much as possible because don't forget that 1 in 11, that's you. Nobody else might be booking them on a video call. Nobody else might not be seeing them face to face, even though it's virtual. But you've offered it and you've stood out from the crowd. Make it simple, give it your all when it comes down to closing. Ask the closing question or deliver the closing statement. So shall we go ahead and book that? Are you ready to book that now? They're questions, yes or no answer. Deliver the closing statement. I can book that for you now. And then be quiet because they will answer you. With your names as they appear on the passport, we can secure this booking for you. With just a few more details, this holiday's yours. They're all statements of truth, but then be quiet and let them answer. Lead them to responding by stopping talking, and it's really important. So many travel advisors don't like silence, but you know what? Silence sells. Because if you've asked a question or you've delivered a powerful statement of truth, which says that you can book it for them now, they've got to think about it in their head for a second before they make the decision. Give them that ability to do just that. Think about it yourself. Nobody wants to be forced into a corner to buy something. You don't want buyer's remorse later. You want to be involved in the conversation. You want to have had the chance to think. So give them that chance. If you have any objections, great, right? If somebody says to you, I can't book it right now, I don't get paid until the end of the month. Okay, so I can't hold anything for you at the moment, so I can't guarantee price and availability, but what I can guarantee you is a call back at the end of the month. And I can do that either on the 29th or the 30th. What will suit you best? That way you're taking them forward. Now, by you saying, I can't guarantee price and availability, that's truthful. And actually, you need to tell your customer that because they must know that if they come back to you at the end of the month and it's not there, it wasn't your fault. In my view, any objection allows you to provide more opportunities, advance your sale, give more information. Don't see objections as the negative. Now, one of the big objections, of course, that people do come up with is price. And they say, well, I found that cheaper elsewhere. And ask them, where did you find it? Is it the same holiday? Please do. Feel free to ask them the questions. But if we're talking about a massive price difference and you know that it's not something that you're going to be able to price match, then you wish them all the best. Right? Wish them all the best. There's no point in you trying to bang your head against a blank screen here if you know that you can't price match that. If there's a really big discrepancy, but if it's a totally different holiday, then you say to them, well, which would you prefer? That holiday that you've got there that you've just told me about for that price, or the one that you really love here with me at this price? Because I can go and get that other holiday for you too. Right, so really think about this. Don't immediately be switched off by a price objection, but at the same time, don't think that you've got to work so hard to try and turn them around if the price difference is just too much. It's okay to say good luck or all the best with that. But remember, if you're booking your holiday again, don't forget me. Always give me the opportunity. Now that does make a really big difference. And if you say to somebody, okay, well, I can see that you've got that particular holiday and you know that that particular tour operator does not have price parity, you're not going to be able to get there with it, and you wish them all the best. But listen, thanks for giving me the opportunity to quote for you. It's been brilliant to get to know you a little bit. I just ask that the next time you're thinking about booking on holiday, will you give me a chance? And your customer will always say yes. But if it's a difference between a couple of pounds or a couple of euros and you say, well, you know what, I'm here at the beginning, the middle and the end for you, and I really value the service. I think that that is definitely the best price that I can get for you on that holiday, and I think that we've ticked all the right boxes for you. I'm really confident this is the right holiday for you, but the choice is yours. I can book it for you at this price. And a lot of times the customer will just think, oh, do you know what, I'm here now and I like her, yeah, go ahead and book it. So the price difference doesn't matter to them. Now, obviously it does if it's really big and you can't get price parity. But my absolute thing here on objections is don't hesitate with answering an objection. Just be confident about it. And even if they say to you, I'm just going to shop around, you're the first call that I've made. Absolutely, of course you might want to do that. I will tell you, I'm not holding anything for you. I can't guarantee availability and I am here right now and can book it for you. So what I will say to you is if you are going to do that, please make sure that you do nothing. Don't take any action until you've come back to me. And that way you're giving your customer a safety net to go out there and do some shopping if that's what they want to. But you've always got me in the end of your head, and always give them a follow-up time to come back to. So I'll give you a wee call. So today's Saturday, I can do that on Monday before 12 or after 4. What suits you best? Always give them the choice and they'll buy into it. Be confident and answer them. And very importantly, be positive. So take action. You've got everything that you've needed. You've dealt with the objections. You've built that rapport. You've dealt with any issues or questions they've got. Now, please book their holiday. Deliver the details in a positive way. Get their buy-in. What do you think? How does that sound? Is that right for you? Do you remember you said you like this? I've got it. What do you think? That really makes a big difference all the way through your conversation. And then asking for that business. Shall we book that now? Or I can book that for you now. And just simply stop talking. It makes a really big difference. And listen, it's 30 seconds probably, if even, but it's going to feel like 30 minutes to you. But write it out. Really do it, because you're giving your customer some thinking room here, and it makes a difference. So, is there urgency? This is real. You have to explain that without confirmation, you cannot guarantee availability and price. And I'm not saying that to try and make you a pushy salesperson. I'm saying it because if you don't, you are doing a disservice to yourself and your customer, because it's the truth. We work in an industry that has fluid pricing, and it's demand driven. There are only so many seats on a plane. When it's full, it's full. You can't have it anymore. And also, when the plane starts to get fuller, then the operator of that plane thinks, oh, I might be able to make some extra money then off those last couple of seats, so the price will change. Know this. We call it fluid pricing, and it is real in our industry. So just let our customers know we can't guarantee this is what I've got for you right now, but until we confirm it, it's not guaranteed. And that puts a sense of urgency their way without you feeling pushy, because you know that you're doing them the right service by telling them about it. And please, after all of this, book it accurately. Take the business and enjoy taking that business. It's a great interaction between you and your customer. It matters because it's allowing you to have a very diverse job, right? Loads of people want to get into the travel industry. Why? Because it's a brilliant job. But let me tell you, it's not the easiest job in the world. People think selling travel and selling holidays is really easy. It's not. It takes a lot of thought, a lot of study, a lot of detail. It takes brilliant communication skills, right? But if you have all of them, then you make it easy between you and your customer. Follow all of your processes when you're booking. Make sure, please, that payment is taken before you make that booking. And next, you've got the wonderful Master Ambassador Emma Cressy coming in to tell you about book, register, and pay, right? That's so important, because if you don't take that money and you make that booking, as Trisha told you this morning, that's a live system, that's a live booking, and you don't want to be liable for it. If it's not in the back office, it's not going to be found for your commission. End of. Nothing else needs to be said about that, because your ambassadors will let you know a little bit more about that as the day goes on. And if you book with the operator and it was an error, or if you didn't take payment, as I said, it's still a live booking that may be cancelled, but there may be charges. So it's important that you keep learning, you keep living this business every single day. It doesn't matter if this is your very first dream maker and you've only been in the business for a few weeks, a few days, a few months. It doesn't matter if this is your fifth dream maker and you love coming to dream makers because it refreshes your skills each and every time, right? Because it matters to you. Your business matters to you. The more further forward you think with this, it makes a big difference. Learn every day. IntelliTravel have a brilliant back office. They've got webinars, but very importantly here, and I'm really going to make this point, and I want it to land with each and every one of you. Your ambassadors are travel advisors. They're successful travel advisors. They've hit every single one of those areas that Danielle told you about earlier, their dream maker, their vacation builder, and their travel genius. Right? They've done it and they're doing it, and they can give you really practical advice in their Beyond Plus groups, Beyond Dreammaker, Beyond, right, all the ones that Danielle told you about earlier. I am a huge advocate of this because I know your ambassadors and I know how much time and effort they put into trying to support you. But this is supporting you educationally, right? They're not going to take your bookings and do them for you, right? They're not going to go to customer service for you. That's your job. You're a business owner. You stand on your own 2 feet. But they put together these small, short sessions for you. And you have the opportunity in those groups to go and say, could you do me a session on book, register, and pay again? Because I've forgotten that. Right? They'll do that for you because they've dedicated themselves, and it's a voluntary role to say, I will support our travel advisors to allow you to have tools and tips that make your business grow. So by becoming a member of this great IntelliTravel family, you've got all of the tools and tips around you, the technology, which is absolutely superb, and you've got a community of people that really care. So make sure that you use that to the best of your ability, because by doing it, it helps your confidence to grow, and that is how you are going to keep your customers happy. Let the service sell for you. Deliver the best of you at all times. Talk and listen, build great relationships. Never, ever be afraid of closing the sale. Always ask for the business. And if you don't want to ask the closed question for fear of receiving no, then simply deliver the closing statement. I can book this for you now, and then be quiet. Never lose the opportunity, always follow up. And if things don't go well, keep positive, answer calmly, be confident, follow all of your processes and bank your success to keep learning. And finally, to turn that mirror back on you one more time, this is you. Be confident, be yourself. There's no point trying to be somebody else. It's only you that can make it work. Know your products, do your training, know your destinations. The more you know, the more you sell. Be persistent. Don't just give up. You're 1 in 11 chance. If you're not persistent, you're going to keep on going from inquiry to inquiry and not converting them. And that's going to destroy your confidence. The more persistent you are, the better. And that's not saying to somebody, I'm going to phone you in an hour. I'm going to phone you in another hour. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to phone you tomorrow. No, just let them know that you do the follow-up, give them a time frame and make sure you stick to it. Have personality. That's what sells. People buy from people first. And follow up, as I've just said, be accurate, be professional, and very importantly, be personable. Think about the language that you use, how positively you come across, and that's also in your writing if you're sending emails. But the best way to sell travel with success and confidently is to do that either face-to-face, on the video, or at the very least on the phone. Emails take a lot longer, and sometimes they're not always read in the way that you want them to. So if you can get that one-to-one with your customer and show them your personality, your confidence in yourself, then you will have a phenomenal business. And I wish each and every one of you the best in your business and to enjoy the rest of your Dream Maker Day. This, if it's the start of your journey, is a brilliant journey that you've embarked on. I've been in this industry 35 years this year, and I have to say that every single year has been different and thoroughly enjoyable, but only if you give yourself the chance to do it. So